Welcome back to this final interview at Streaming Media East 2023 here in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm here today with Yazmin, and Yazmin works with Scripps Networks. Yazmin, introduce yourself. Tell me just a little bit about your background in the industry.
Sure. So my name is Yazmin. I work for Scripps Networks. We are a division of the EW Scripps Corporation. So my particular division, we broadcast 13 national TV channels to include ION, Court TV, and Scripps News. And then I work on the product side of the house where we handle development and strategy for our web, mobile, and CTV apps.
Okay, very good. And how does that strategy differ from sort of the traditional television channels?
Oh, goodness. So we have some really amazing and brilliant programmers, right, who would create these channels that everybody would want to watch. The addition of apps and CTV devices just is an extension of that particular avenue. So, but it also comes with, different needs. So, for example, not only do people want to be able to just, tune into a TV channel and lean back and, let it wash over you. I think somebody said that.
Yeah, somebody said that earlier, and I was like, I don't think I've ever described it that way.
I know, but it's so apt, right? You
You
just want to kind of sit down and lean back and just like, okay.
Tell me what I need to know.
Tell me a story.
Right, yeah.
With an app, it begets a level of engagement from your user.
Sure.
So you want to develop an easy, low-friction app that allows them to select the content that they want to watch.
Okay. And is the content that they're watching there just a rebroadcast of what's on the television channels, or is it programmed differently?
It depends on the app and the brand, right? Our programmers know their audience, and sometimes we will get things that, like for example, our Court TV channel, we have our linear broadcast, and then we also clip from the channel so that whoever missed the live broadcast can go back and get
the highlights reel.
Exactly. For things like bounce, what may actually be in the app is controlled by content rights, and so we'll put whatever VOD we think our consumers will really enjoy in the app, and everything else is most likely on linear.
Okay. So how long have you been in Scripps and doing this?
So I was part of a company that was acquired in 2018.
Okay.
I worked for Bounce / Kate's Broadcasting.
Okay.
I joined them in 2016 as a PHP developer.
Okay.
So I have a technical background, and I just naturally evolved into a product role.
Okay.
And then in 2018 we were acquired, reorged, restructured.
Sure.
And I found myself being assigned to a senior director of product role, and having a conversation with somebody going, hey, you're doing product. I am. Yes, you are. Okay, great. Thank you.
So having that sort of programmer background makes you more attuned and more empathetic to the developer who has to develop the new features and functions than, say, a standard programmer might be. What are the changes? So as the company was acquired in 2018, 2 years prior to the pandemic, and then we saw obviously this huge uptick in uptake for people watching fast style channels and other app-driven channels. What are some of the changes that you've seen even since the pandemic has tapered off that maybe changes in the way that people consume content?
Well, yeah, I think I can't believe we're still talking like pre and post pandemic stuff.
I know.
It's it's amazing, but I think pre-pandemic the illusion of choice was still there, right? We were presented with all of these platforms that had all of this content, and the story was, come join our platform. We have all these amazing things that you can watch.
often exclusives that you could watch, which is why you should join our platform.
Exactly. So, but post-pandemic, a lot of us have spent a lot of time sitting in front of our TV, trying to binge every single possible piece of content that we can, and we're getting tired, of
Fair
the
point.
excess of all this content. So, really, for any company who's trying to develop apps, the story has changed, right? Like the plan of attack was just throw it out there,
Right.
and they'll come.
Right.
Now it's like you could throw it out there, but the excess of choice is becoming a crippling matter for your consumers. So it might be better if you curate or figure out, and I know we've talked about it a lot in this conference, figure out a strategy for discoverability, because it's really important
Yes.
to provide a consumer the things that they want to see, not necessarily what you think they want to see.
And especially as we're moving into a world where sort of pre-pandemic and pandemic, the idea was this is exclusive content that will always stay on this platform. It will never be syndicated out to another platform. And in fact, you saw some of the big players pull their assets back into their own platform to artificially, well, I shouldn't say artificially, to enhance their subscriber rates.
Right.
Forgetting that the whole model of syndication was a way to do long tail revenue models. And so one concern I have in the industry as that glut of choices come along is that people will see the same content on 50 of those choices and feel like we're right back in the TV days of there's nothing to watch. So how do we counter that with, is it compelling content? Is it compelling experiences? Is it compelling apps? I mean, what's the model to get there?
Well, honestly, I think it's a combination of all those three. So content still remains king, right? The fact is that the companies that invest in creating content, creating stories, are going to have that little bit of an edge that just, makes them sparkle. Let's talk about Taylor Sheridan, and Yellowstone, and how amazing it is that the division of his empire is driving the growth of these two platforms. I never would have been, I don't think I would, I'm definitely one of those people that loves to pay for an ad-less experience.
Sure.
But you best believe I wanted to watch the last season of Yellowstone.
Right.
So I sat through those ads, So there's the content, right? And then, the experience with the content, right? If Yellowstone was not as engaging as it was, I probably would not have sat through the experience that I had to in order to view that content.
So that content was compelling enough for you to choose to sit through that experience.
Yes. So it's never just one thing. So it's always the combination of everything.
All right, Yazmin, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And this wraps us for Streaming Media East 2023.